Two English women, Charlotte and Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, visiting the Palace of Versailles in 1901, took a wrong turn during their exploration of the gardens, leading them into an experience that defied all logical explanation and would later become known as the Time Travelers of Versailles incident. As they wandered off the main path, they encountered people dressed in old-fashioned 18th century clothes, heard strange, melancholic music that seemed to emanate from nowhere, and even met a woman sketching serenely beneath a tree, an encounter that would prove to be profoundly significant. It was only later, after much reflection and research, that they began to grasp the astonishing truth: they might have inadvertently walked into another century, a moment in time from over 100 years before their own. The date was August 10th, 1901. It was a warm and pleasant afternoon at the magnificent Palace of Versailles, located just outside Paris, France, a place steeped in centuries of history and royal intrigue. Charlotte and Moberly and Eleanor Jourdain, both respected school principals from England, were enjoying a holiday and decided to visit the world-renowned gardens of Versailles, eager to explore its beauty and historical significance. Seeking a quieter experience away from the bustling crowds, they chose a secluded path that wound beneath tall, ancient trees, leading them towards a tranquil pond known as the Petit Trianon, a more intimate part of the vast estate. It was at this precise moment, as they ventured deeper into the less traveled parts of the garden, that everything around them began to subtly, yet profoundly, change, marking the beginning of their extraordinary experience. The air around them grew heavy and oppressive, a palpable shift in atmosphere. The bright sunlight dimmed noticeably, and the vibrant colors of the garden seemed to flatten and desaturate, transforming into an unsettling gray-green hue, as if a filter had been placed over their vision. Amidst this strange visual transformation, the women began to hear faint, ethereal music. It was unlike anything they recognized from their own time, a haunting melody of violins and flutes, distant and imbued with a profound sadness, adding to the growing sense of unease. Then, through the muted landscape, they saw two men ahead of them. These figures were distinctly out of place, wearing archaic three-cornered hats and long, heavy coats, their faces appearing unnaturally pale, almost waxen and lifeless, as if carved from stone. The clothing worn by these two mysterious men was unmistakably from the 18th century, a style long past, further deepening the women's growing sense of bewilderment and the unsettling feeling that they had stepped into a different era. One of the men, without uttering a single word, made a silent, deliberate gesture towards a small, ornate bridge. Compelled by an inexplicable force, Moberly and Jourdain found themselves following his silent direction, drawn further into the unfolding mystery. As they crossed the bridge, the gardens on the other side appeared profoundly wrong. They were eerily frozen in time, unnaturally still and silent, save for the persistent, faint, and melancholic melody that continued to drift through the heavy air. Near a small, elegant pavilion, their eyes fell upon a young woman. She was seated gracefully under a large, ancient tree, completely absorbed in sketching in a notebook, seemingly oblivious to their presence. Her attire was exquisitely ornate, a testament to a bygone era: powdered hair styled high, a wide, voluminous skirt, and delicate ribbons of pale green silk adorning her dress, all indicative of 18th century aristocratic fashion. The sketching woman briefly looked up, her expression utterly blank and devoid of emotion, a gaze that sent a sudden, inexplicable wave of profound dread washing over both Moberly and Jourdain, chilling them to the bone. Moments later, a man appeared, seemingly from nowhere. He was dressed in a dark coat, appearing more modern than the other figures they had encountered. He abruptly informed them that the correct path to the palace lay in the opposite direction. Following his instruction, they turned back, and as quickly and mysteriously as the strange experience had begun, everything around them returned to normal, the unsettling atmosphere dissipating instantly. The air was warm and pleasant once more, the gardens filled with the familiar sounds and sights of ordinary tourists, and the strange, sad music had completely vanished, leaving only the sounds of the present day. In the immediate aftermath, the two women exchanged no words about their shared, bizarre encounter, choosing to remain silent, at least for the time being, as they processed the inexplicable events they had just witnessed. Months later, the profound and unsettling experience continued to haunt them. Unable to shake the vivid memories, they decided to independently write separate, detailed accounts of that extraordinary day, meticulously documenting every detail they could recall. Upon comparing their individual notes, Moberly and Jourdain were astonished to discover that their descriptions of the events, the people, and the surroundings matched almost perfectly, down to the smallest, most intricate details. Driven by their shared experience, they delved into extensive research on the history of Versailles. They soon realized that many of the specific architectural features and landscape elements they had seen, including certain bridges, pavilions, and even particular paths, simply did not exist in 1901. These specific structures and garden layouts had been destroyed or altered long ago. Furthermore, the woman they had seen sketching beneath the tree bore an uncanny resemblance to Queen Marie Antoinette, specifically as she was last depicted before the tumultuous French Revolution. The story of their adventure quickly became famous, captivating the public imagination. However, it also attracted numerous skeptics who dismissed their account as mere imagination, perhaps a case of shared delusion, or even a physiological reaction to heat exhaustion during their visit. Despite the skeptical explanations, modern psychologists find it difficult to reconcile the incident with conventional theories. It is exceedingly rare for two independent hallucinations to align so precisely in terms of timing, vivid imagery, and astonishing historical accuracy. Other researchers and theorists propose the concept of time-slip phenomena, suggesting a spontaneous, localized folding of space-time. This could potentially be triggered by unusual electrical or magnetic disturbances in the environment, creating a temporary portal to another era. In such extraordinary moments, it is theorized that different layers of reality might briefly overlay each other, allowing two distinct time periods to coexist, however fleetingly, within the same physical space, creating a temporal anomaly. Does this sound impossible? Consider this. In 1996, a British physicist put forth the intriguing idea of localized temporal distortion. This theory suggests that small, temporary shifts in time perception could indeed be caused by specific environmental electromagnetic fields. And, remarkably, the geological composition of the area around Versailles is known to be rich in quartz. Quartz is a mineral renowned for its unique properties, particularly its ability to store and transmit various forms of energy, including electromagnetic frequencies. Is this geological fact merely a coincidence, an irrelevant detail in the grand scheme of things, or could it be a crucial key, a vital piece of evidence that helps to unlock the enduring mystery of the Moberly-Jourdain incident? Moberly and Jourdain eventually published their full account in 1911 under the evocative title An Adventure. The book immediately became a sensation, sparking widespread public fascination, but it also ignited a significant academic and social scandal. Mainstream historians largely dismissed their claims, finding them too fantastical to be credible, while many scientists of the era cautiously avoided engaging with the controversial topic, unwilling to risk their reputations on such an unusual phenomenon. However, decades later, when comprehensive aerial photographs of Versailles were finally taken, a startling detail emerged. The specific path, the bridge, and the garden layout that Moberly and Jourdain had described matched precisely the documented layout of Marie Antoinette's gardens from the 1780s, long before any modern restoration efforts. This crucial historical detail, the exact 18th century layout of the gardens, was not widely known or publicly accessible in 1901, making the women's accurate description all the more perplexing and difficult to explain away. Perhaps it was a form of residual memory, an energetic imprint left upon the very land itself, with the ancient stones and trees of Versailles holding a faint echo of its vibrant, royal past, waiting to be perceived. Or perhaps it was indeed imagination, a powerful shared delusion. Yet, The possibility remains that, for a few fleeting moments under the warm August sunlight, two women truly walked between centuries, bridging the gap between their present and a distant past. Sometimes, history doesn't merely repeat itself in cycles or patterns. Rather, it occasionally plays back, offering glimpses of what once was, blurring the lines between past and present in unexpected ways. This has been Truth in the Shadows, a journey into the unexplained. Here, time bends, reality shifts, and the echoes of the past remember us, inviting us to question what we truly know about the fabric of existence.